Texas!
He's a 10.
I choose this family.
Hi guys, welcome to episode 29 of 911 Lone Star Roundup. I'm one of your hosts, Grace, and with me are my lovely co-hosts, Katie.
Hey guys.
And EJ.
Hey everyone.
And today we will be talking about 911 Lone Star Season 2, Episode 13, titled One Day. Also, fun fact, if you want to stay around to the end, today, Saturday, May 22nd, we are talking to Ronen at DreamItCon on a 3-on-1.
We're excited.
Yes.
And we'll be coming back and recording and talking about, how it went and squealing about it because we're all so excited. So, stick around towards the very end, guys.
Yeah.
Yay.
Yes.
And in order to get to the very end, let's get talking.
Yes.
So, we start basically where we ended last episode.
Right.
Tommy is administering CPR to Charles, and she's making a 911 call. And I'll be honest, I'm surprised the dispatcher didn't immediately pick up that she was a paramedic, because she's so paramedic-esque right now.
Well, and you would have figured he would have recognized her name or her voice.
Well, she did actually give it her name, because we start in at the call that I can remember. We start in at the call and it's like, I have a 50-year-old male not breathing. She didn't give her name, if I remember correctly.
Yeah,
she didn't give it till later.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I was kind of surprised, but I also wasn't he was dead, being how he was.
I would have been more surprised if he was alive.
Yeah, that's the thing. He looks so dead, and honestly, I think a lot of people did not like that I was he's dead because of this, and this. Because I was this episode is called One Day, and in my head, I was one day we will be together again, or one day, and stuff. And the next episode is called Dust to Dust, and it's Ash to Ashes, Dust to Dust. And that was all that was in my head, and people are Katie, shut up. And I'm I'm sorry, I'm just stating facts here.
Right.
You can't take the heat, shush.
Right. Well, yeah, and then, because this whole episode happened in one day, which I know that there was a lot of people that were really up in arms that we didn't see any, resolution of, TK and Carlos after the fire, but if it happened in one day, this has only been 24 hours since the fire.
Not even 24 hours. We start out probably, maybe at most 3 hours after the fire.
Yeah, because later we find out that the call was at 3 in the morning.
Yeah.
So, yeah, literally not even, which I was wow, this happened so fast. She got home at 3, and this is wow, that was I don't know why I thought, I don't know.
And I really appreciate that she addressed them and tell them no lights and sirens because I don't want to wake up my girls.
Yes, yeah, because it's
so... to be honest, that probably would have made things far easier for her, I'm just saying.
Yeah.
But at the same time, that would have been horrible. So I'm glad she actually told them, shush.
Yeah.
Shush. And, fun little fact I learned about. So we see her, she's administering CPR, and eventually she's just he has no pulse, his body is cold, and rigor started to set in. And this is when, the whole identity thing comes in, because the guy's ma'am, I want to wait for the paramedics. And she's I am a paramedic.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
But this wasn't even he died right there. Rigor, I looked this up. Rigor typically sets in 1 to 6 hours after death, average 2 to 4. So he has been dead for at least an hour. And so there probably wasn't any helping him anyway. There sure as hell ain't any chance he was being helped right then.
Right. Well, he probably passed away just after they got off the phone.
Yeah, because he was still exactly where he was doing laundry. And we can see he finished doing the laundry, but he probably just up and died right then.
Yeah.
And I feel bad. I feel bad that, he's passed away and Tommy lost her husband and the girls lost their dad.
I liked Charles, so that makes sense.
He was a cool guy.
I wasn't especially attached to him because we've seen so little of him, but he seemed like this just super sweet, loving husband and father. So I'm I'm sad. That's really a blow. And honestly, if you think about it, there was a 3-hour gap in which the girls could have come down and found him. They got really lucky with that.
Yeah, that's true.
That would have been horrible.
Right.
They would have been scarred for life.
Yeah. And as we know, the actor who plays Charles, we just found out that he's got a new job. Is that what you said, Katie? Or he's got a new role and they didn't know how to deal with scheduling?
Yeah, so the actor did get a new job, I read. I guess he got like a new role or whatever, so they didn't know how to deal with scheduling. Yeah, like I am kind of sad. Not like sad, but like I'm a little sad about it because like out of any like I guess one of the spouses in the show, minus Grace, because I feel like Grace is like part of the like I consider her main cast. Where Charles I didn't because he was more recurring anyways. But it is sad, and I mostly am sad because of their daughters. And
yes,
that was like the main thing for me.
Yeah. And anytime we saw him, he would just be really supportive and like awesome. So it's like, and that's because, he was recurring. We didn't get into much nitty gritty or anything like that. But, it's just, I'm not in mourning or anything.
Right,
but I'm sad. And he will be missed. And, this is going to be a roller coaster.
Right.
For Tommy, and I have a few thoughts on that I might address later on in the episode.
Oh yeah, same.
But what I liked about this episode was that it wasn't exactly a begins or anything like that, but we got flashbacks.
Yeah.
And I'm like, we already saw a little bit of their begins, or at least their past life in Judd and Grace Begins.
Yeah, sorta. Yeah.
Sorta. They were part of it.
Yeah,
so seeing more of just them, I really liked that.
Yeah, I agree. Like I was kind of hesitant going into this episode because I saw that it was going to be Tommy centric, and I was a little concerned just because I was like, wait, Carlos just got into like they just had a fire at their house and it burned down to the ground, and we're not even gonna get that. Which, spoiler, you guys know we didn't really get that, but we also still got them in a way. But the way this episode was, I actually like. I didn't mind. Like it was like one of those episodes where you don't get what you want and you're like super bummed. Like I think they used their time, I guess, kind of wisely. Like it wasn't my favorite episode, obviously, but it wasn't like a waste of time, if that makes any sense.
Right. Yeah. I mean, in some ways it was kind of a filler episode, but in other ways I feel like since the cast, a lot of them were having to film things out of order, it made sense that like they could film like the Tommy and Charles stuff while the rest of the team was doing a fire, or the stuff they were dealing with at TK and Carlos's could be done at the same time she was filming with Charles and stuff. So I'm not surprised that they had an episode like this, especially with the way we heard COVID, protocols and stuff going on.
Yeah, definitely. Like it definitely helped because like episode 12 took like a month to film, like a full month and stuff. So like obviously they needed to start that sooner than later.
Yeah.
So
and I'm not all that bothered by the fact that we didn't really get Carlos, because it's like there's one day and we're dealing with the death of a character. I would be more disturbed if they did put them in, if I'm going to be honest, just because it's like where would they go in? I'm happy with the glimpse we got towards the end.
Exactly.
But yeah, so flashback, we see the real estate agent, which fun fact, same real estate agent from the pilot that showed
Yes, I'm so glad somebody else figured it out. I heard her voice and I was like, I know that voice.
I looked at her, I'm like, I think that's her. And so I saw her notes and I'm like, I knew it was her.
Yeah, so like when I was rewatching this, I was like, that has to be her. So I like, searched it up and I was like, yep, it's her.
It's her. I like her. So
yeah.
If Mateo needs new digs at some point, I hope she comes along to help.
Oh yeah. Tarlos is gonna need a new place too.
We're not even close to being to like next season's wish list, but I'm just gonna throw this out there. I want Tarlos to go house hunting.
Yes.
I want to see it. Oh my gosh, yes.
Okay.
Especially I want them to like feel like we need to get out of the house and be able to do like stuff in private.
Right. Yeah.
But anyway. So we see the real estate agent showing Tommy and Charles, I'm guessing this like 10 years ago.
Yeah, same.
Around their current home, which then obviously wasn't their home yet. And this is when we kind of get context, like Tommy going, what are we going to do with 3 bedrooms? And Charles is like, fill him. And we
Right.
see, like, with the next couple lines, they've been struggling just because she says, and what if we can't? So we can guess they've been trying for a while.
Well, we found that out when Owen shared with her that she had gotten pregnant. How she kind of shared her pregnancy story and how they'd been struggling for a while to get pregnant.
Yeah.
And she got pregnant. I think she was over 40 when that happened.
Yeah, because she had just turned 40, I think is how she said it. So, yeah.
Which my mom had me at 42, but I also have 3 older sisters.
Right.
So trying to, like, just start a family over 40, that's rough.
Yeah, I know a couple people who's like even were younger and like struggled, so it's definitely hard and it happens to like a lot of people.
Yeah.
And then after this scene, we come back to present day, and Tommy goes and changes into regular clothes and just sits in the living room staring at the spot where he had last been after the paramedics came and
she
took
sat
his
there
body
all night.
Yeah.
Which, granted, was probably about 4 hours between the time the girls came down and the time she had gotten home. But still, that's a long time to just be standing there or sitting there staring into space.
Yeah, she was definitely like in shock for like this part, and honestly like the whole episode, because like just you could tell.
She never
was
processed
definitely in
it.
shock. No, she didn't.
She didn't even know how to process that.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think part being a paramedic partially saved her and hindered her in this. Because I think in her mind she was still in work mode almost. Like she had just taken care of a patient, not her husband.
Right, yeah.
And so it's like, it wasn't connecting. And I gotta wonder, like, is that an unusual thing for first responders? Like, do they have this disconnect when, you know, someone close to them dies just because they see death so much?
Well, I think it's kind of tough, but yeah, for me, like having gone through a lot of that nowadays, when people lose someone, I'm not numb to it, but I'm definitely like, I can compartmentalize it a little bit more. Yeah. So I think that's kind of what paramedics kind of deal with, is that it's easier for them to be numb or to compartmentalize because they've had to deal with it on the job for so long, so they can kind of be the solid rock for everybody, which is not good. I mean, you need to have your own emotions as well. Yeah. But some people can hold on to them a little bit better.
At some point, everyone breaks.
Right.
Exactly. There's no holding in forever. You break. And it can get really messy when you break. And we kind of see a little bit of that here. Not messy necessarily, but unfortunate.
Yeah.
But we can address that later.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. My favorite once we see the girls, my favorite like part of like it was when Evie was like, when Tommy was saying like, oh, she would have to go to work for a while because there's a fire and the firehouse like needed repairs or whatever. She didn't really go into details, but like she told them about that part of it. And Evie's like, yes! And Izzy's like, don't cheer for a fire.
Yeah.
And Evie's like, I'm not cheering for a fire. I'm cheering because Mom can go to the zoo with us on Friday. I was like, oh my god.
That's like, so cute. That's such a little blip of normal in there. I'm like, I love those girls.
And
they're so cute.
Yeah.
And they're also like, I feel like they really are like mini Tommies.
Oh my god, yeah.
Yeah. And I think this was, I know a lot of people are like, because, obviously we see this through the whole show, is that she doesn't tell the girls. But I think she wanted the girls to have the normal day.
Yeah.
Before they come home from school and find out all this stuff.
Yeah, so how the hell do you tell your girls when you have not even accepted it yourself?
Yeah,
right.
That's the thing. And like they're 8, so they're like 8. Telling an 8-year-old that their father died is very difficult. And stuff, because like they're old enough to sort of understand it, but also like it's a really hard topic to be having with a child, and like it's so like it's hard. Like, so I think she needed to like process it herself, and she needs to think it through before even like saying it, because that's gonna like really like break.
And I think
that's gonna make it real, for one thing.
Yeah.
Right.
And the moment she tells them, already their lives have sort of changed forever. But the moment she tells them, their lives have changed forever.
Exactly.
Yeah, and I think too she wanted answers. Like she wanted to know what happened because at that moment when she found him, she didn't know what happened. She could assume, but
and she did. She had a couple theories.
Yeah, so she probably wanted answers, which makes sense. You know, you want to be able to tell your kids as much as you possibly can to be honest with them. So yeah,
not having those answers and just having to go, I don't know.
Right.
That make things worse in the moment. The only bad thing about this was the more time that goes on, the worse it gets.
Yep.
Yeah.
And at some point it goes from being like a good thing to a bad thing.
Yeah.
Because the more time that goes by, it's like, it's just going to be worse when you tell them.
Yeah, especially since there was kind of a lie built onto it.
I know. It's like, you could see she was going to say, but then she couldn't.
Yeah, she just wasn't, like, ready enough to say it, which is, like, understandable and stuff. And, like, if I was in the same situation, I can't really say I would do anything different.
You know, I don't think anyone could ever say what they do unless they're in that situation.
Exactly.
Like, yeah, I don't know what I do.
Yeah, so then we move on to the next scene, which is Jed and Grace.
Yeah, I love these two.
Oh my god.
Also, Judd in glasses.
Oh, I was not
Jim
expecting
in glasses. Oh my goodness.
I was not expecting that at all. So when I saw it, I was like, oh my god. And come on, Lone Star, since you gave this, can we please have TK and Carlos in glasses?
Yes, I need that.
Much.
I need that. We know Rafa wears them a lot.
Yeah,
and like we've seen Ronen wear them on occasion. So like, let's come on, now, please, thank you. Wish list.
Yes, that's like
this is the point where we start forming our wish list for season 3. Because also, guys,
we got a renewal. Yes.
Oh yeah, yes.
We were getting renewed, but also we're renewed.
Yes.
Celebrate good times.
Come on.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure, like, yeah, we've been talking about it, like, in podcasts for weeks and just in general for, like, weeks. So, like, the fact that it finally happened is, like, everything.
Oh, you know, it got renewed earlier in the day before this episode came. I think to some degree it's kind of got him pushed to the side because of that. But I was just like, let's take a moment for the renewal.
Yes, so excited.
Yeah.
All right, so going back into this scene, so Grace comes home from physical therapy.
Yeah.
And apparently she's made really good hip progress. Good. So like, yay, good for her.
Yay.
She wants to regain that mobility and flexibility before the baby comes.
Yeah, honestly, yeah. And Judd's working at the baby registry. Isn't that adorable?
That's so cute.
My favorite part is like Grace looking at the list and seeing there's cowboy boots and cowboy hat. And Grace is just like, I don't think the baby's gonna have use for cowboy boots. Just and Judd's face is just like, why not?
I know, and his face was like,
I'm
what do you mean?
Judd, honey, the baby doesn't walk for like a year.
Right.
He's like, yeah, she's like, babies don't walk and none of us need the need for cowboy boots. And just like,
think how adorable she'll look.
Yeah, think about how adorable she'll look with the little matching hat. And she's like, so you think it's gonna be a she? And he's like, I got a feeling. And honestly,
I do too. I think it's gonna be a she.
Yeah,
it's gonna be a she, and they're gonna name it Charlotte or Charlie.
Oh, I like that.
For Charles.
Yeah, I don't...
Possibly.
I'd be okay if they did that.
Especially
since I think, you know, Tommy and Charles would have been the godparents anyway. And so Charles isn't there to be there, but...
Oh, yeah, like, not that this happened, I think that's definitely possible. But I also could see them possibly naming it after Judd's mom.
I literally just thought of that, yeah. Which, you know, we don't even know her name.
Yeah, but like,
it's true.
I could see that happening, but I definitely think it's a girl because, like, because Gwen, like, it was a boy, so I feel like they're not going to do 2 boys in a row.
I don't think so, no.
Like, I don't know. Like, I just don't see that happening. Also,
like, granted, we're not going to see the Gwen's baby.
Right.
Not really. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if we saw a video call or something, but we're not going to see Gwen's baby.
Yeah.
But I still feel like, for many reasons, but that included, it's going to be a girl.
I just want it to be a girl, too. Oh my god. I think Judd would be a cute girl dad. Like,
Yes.
Oh yeah.
please. Just
Judd's
Hell
gonna
yeah.
be a great dad, period, and I think he'll do great as a dad. It will be funny though because he'll be like trying to play football with the little girl who maybe wants to play Barbie, so that will be interesting. But girl dads are awesome.
Yeah.
Yes.
Or maybe he'll watch perhaps like the little princess kind of thing, and the girl's just like, nope, let me go like pick up this axe over here.
Yeah,
Oh my
really.
god, that'd be funny. Oh my
Yeah,
god.
That was totally me though. I'm an only child, so I get it.
Yeah. So okay. So going on from that I like seeing that scene. Like I needed that scene.
And isn't this the scene where Tommy calls and asks Grace to pick the kids up after school?
Yes.
Which I'm like, I think this is when I started getting concerned that Tommy didn't even tell Grace.
Yeah,
And
didn't she say something like she's got a family member in the hospital or something that she's visiting? So like that starts the story.
Yeah, well,
but
she didn't tell Grace.
Say that till Owen.
Yeah, she told Owen that, not Grace. She gave Grace and Judd, like, no information whatsoever. She just asked if they could pick up the girls and could watch them for a few hours.
And they're used to that, I think. So there's like, but they knew it almost immediately she sounded off.
Yeah.
And I'm like, see, that's what best friends know.
Yes.
Yeah, literally. And yeah, so then we see Tommy meet with the coroner, which I don't know. This whole scene was a little weird. I don't know.
Yeah.
This is when I just had this like foreboding feeling. I'm like, well, the rest of the episode's gonna be fun.
Yeah. So like Tommy had mentioned how she suspected it was either a stroke or an aneurysm, and then like the coroner quickly realizes that Charles was her husband, and she like was like, yeah, you gotta go.
Yeah. Well, the thing was, she picked up the file. She saw the name in the file.
Right.
And you see her look at her like.
And that's when Tommy confirmed that it was,
Back up.
And I don't think it was that she didn't want her there. I think she just felt like, your husband just died. I don't really think you're going to want to see me.
Yeah, she was
doing an autopsy on him. Yeah.
I mean, like, ethically, you can't watch any of your family members. Like, it's kind of like how you're technically, like, if you're a surgeon, you can't technically, like, watch surgery on your loved one. Because that's, like, not a good idea.
Yeah, honestly, it just would have been traumatizing if she'd seen Charles cut open. Honestly. And she'd already gone through enough trauma.
Yeah, seriously.
Let's just say. So we get another flashback, and this is them coming out from an IVF appointment, which they have been trying. Apparently, I don't remember how long they said this was going on, but I feel like this was like third time or something like that.
Yeah.
But I don't remember.
Yeah,
but,
I think so.
You know, we see her frustration, and, you know, I've heard stories of people, like, trying with IVF, and it just doesn't work, and they get so frustrated, and I'm like, honestly, I get it in a way, because it's just like, you know, you're trying the science-proven method that isn't, you know, the natural way, so it's like, you want that to work, and it's not, and IVF is freaking expensive.
It is. Some people drain their savings just to try, and if it doesn't work, then they're out all that money, and
even then it sets them back. Like, when you're having a kid, you shouldn't be set back.
Right.
But,
yeah.
I have a friend that went through that. They struggled to get pregnant, spent a lot of money on IVF, and then kind of fell through, didn't work, and then thankfully they were blessed with an opportunity to adopt. But that's
it's hard.
Yeah,
and it's so emotionally taxing. We see that here, like. Tommy's torn up about it.
Yeah.
And honestly, Charles was so sweet in here. I'm just like, oh. I thought this was a very sweet and so freaking sad scene.
Yeah, when he says you'll never have to find out what it's like to be without him.
That was really hard. That was the point where I just went,
Yeah.
I emotionally blocked that out. I didn't remember that until now.
I'm just like, why? Why?
This is, that literally happened.
I'm sending your therapy bill.
Honestly, can I just send the whole 9-1 franchise my therapy bill? Like, I'm not going to get into that, but you guys, if you know, you know.
If you know, you know, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
This past week was very traumatizing.
Literally. Oh my god. So then we get to Tommy sitting outside the hospital, and who does she run into? Of course, Owen.
I kind of liked that.
Oh my god, me too.
It's like, honestly, Owen was probably the most qualified to help her. Not because he'd had a spouse die, but just because, like, it's Owen.
Yeah, it's Owen.
It's Owen.
Yeah.
That's all you need to explain anything.
I always like their scenes together, so when I see them together, I'm like, yes,
Yeah.
please. And so, like, Tommy's like, what are you doing here? And she's like, oh yeah, I just have a checkup for my cancer surgery. And he asks her the same question, and she's like, oh, one of my family members is getting surgery downstairs.
Getting a procedure.
Yeah.
So, like, it's like, you are so white lying here. Like, you were so skimming by the hair of your teeth on the truth. It's like, yeah. Autopsy is a procedure. But it's like so deliberately misleading. Like, this is just when I'm kind of facepalming. I'm like, honey, tell someone.
Right. Oh my god, yeah, like
if you don't want to bear Judd and Grace at the moment, tell Owen. Like, he's literally the best person to tell if you don't want to deal with anyone else.
Yeah. What I was just thinking was not okay to be thinking. But like, this is so bad, but like, this is just my dark humor coming through. But I'm like, yeah, Owen's been on death's door before. He'll get it.
Yeah.
It's so terrible.
That's so true. That's true. He's dealt with family members on death's door.
TK! Oh my god, yeah, I didn't even go that far, but yeah, it's so true.
Yeah.
So it's like, and undoubtedly he's lost family members before, not spouse, but still. So it's like, yeah, just tell. But so anyway, I enjoyed that little interaction.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that scene, so past that, that's done. So now we head back to Judd and Grace, and they're being suspicious. Not suspicious, but like worried, I think, and curious and concerned.
Well, yeah. Yeah, because Judd comes home with the girls, and like, whatever, and it's adorable. And then like, Grace is like, did they give you any clue of what's going on with Tommy? And Judd's just like, no, they said Charles was like gone or out of town or something along the lines of that. And that was pretty much it. And Evie had mentioned how she heard a car in the driveway the night before.
Yep.
And of course, they're wondering if, Tommy and Charles are fighting. That's not a, bad assumption, People leaving in the middle of the night, like that kind of thing.
Yeah, because they hadn't had any suspicions that there was anything going on between them, so they were concerned that if Charles leave or something.
If Charles had an underlying health condition, they may have suspected it more. Right. But they had no way of guessing he was dead.
Yeah.
So now we go on. Also, brief moment to love their interactions with the girls.
Oh, it's so cute.
Yes, I love that. Yes,
it was so cute.
Like, I love how they're like, "Oh, can we do video games?" And she's like, "After homework." And they were like, "Uncle Dad said we could." And she looks at me, he's like, "After your homework."
Yeah.
Well, I mean, we knew Judd was going to be good with kids because the very first in the pilot, we had that brief interaction with the little girl that was the daughter of one of the firefighters that passed away. Yes. So he was really cute with her. So I'm like, yeah, he's going to be a good dad.
Every time I've seen him with kids, I'm just like, yep.
So is Carlos and TK, so yeah.
Yeah, I was about to say TK.
And Carlos, when they had the little ice cream.
Oh, that's true.
I
want to see him, I want to see him interact with kids more.
Yeah,
we don't see him interact with kids a lot, just because, he's busy doing cop things that's typically reserved for adults. So I really want to see Carlos with kids. I want to see him with like a niece or a nephew or something.
God knows he probably has a bunch of them. Like, come on.
Probably.
Lone Star, stop holding out at us.
Come on. Even though, like, seriously, there's been no mention of siblings.
Right.
And so it's like, okay, is he an only child? I don't think so, but is he?
Yeah.
Judd, you mean?
No, Carlos.
Oh, yeah.
There's no way he's an only child.
No,
come on now.
No way.
He does not, I have siblings. He does not give me an only child vibe.
No, he doesn't.
All right. So, moving on. So, we're back at the hospital. Tommy's just sitting on the bench where Owen had found her, and this guy comes up and asks to sit there. He's obviously on the edge a little bit. And you're like, okay, what's going on? Honestly, I thought he was also there for something that had died.
The same.
And we weren't fully wrong,
Right.
but
No.
a little off.
Yeah.
And he's talking about how he can't say goodbye to his son, who had horrible seizures like through most of his life, I believe. And if I remember the story correctly, his son had been home alone, like the roommates had gone out, and he'd had a seizure.
Right.
And they found him in the
Yeah.
bathroom like days afterwards. And so,
Yeah, he was
hadn't
in a
gotten help for
coma
days.
and yeah.
Yeah, he was in coma for 2 weeks, and like basically they're waiting to unplug him, which is so sad.
Mhm.
And
It's like,
stuff.
oh.
Yeah, and you can tell that like Tommy's like trying to almost like hold it in and
Right.
stuff, and like the guy couldn't like go up there by himself, so she's like, I'll go up with you, like, and
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah. And gosh, like who wouldn't do the same even?
Right.
Like I do the same.
Yeah,
Yeah.
same. Like, yeah, I would.
Yeah. Like let's go support.
Yeah.
There was no cause for concern at this point.
Yeah.
Like obviously he was a very distraught dad.
Right.
And so they walk up. The ex comes out with her husband,
Oh my god.
Yikes.
and that dissolves into a bad situation
Yeah.
in which George, the guy, pulls a gun.
Yeah.
And at this point, I'm like, I wasn't expecting this
Same
at
here.
all. I'm just like, I mean, I honestly, in this, I sympathize with him. Because he
Yeah.
wasn't being allowed to say goodbye to
Right.
his son.
Yeah, that's
Well,
like,
even though he
yeah.
hadn't even processed he was going to have to say goodbye.
Yeah.
Yeah, like that's just like, I don't care, like unless you like were like a criminal and you like did something really bad to your child, like yes,
Yeah.
then you shouldn't be allowed. But like in this situation, he seems like a stand-up guy, like he seems like a nice guy. Like just let the guy say goodbye to his son or whatever.
Right.
Just let him have that last goodbye, because if he doesn't have that last goodbye, that's gonna like traumatize him a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
I feel
More
like.
than that, that'll just destroy him.
Exactly.
And
yeah.
he was at that point where he's like, I can't let them kill my son.
Yeah.
Because he
Right,
hadn't registered he was going to have to, like, this was it.
Yeah. Well, because he believed he'd wake up.
Right.
Yeah. And it's like, I was upset for him. And it's like, yeah, just let him say goodbye. What's the
Yeah.
harm?
And thankfully, Tommy was able to talk the gal down from freaking out anymore, and they were able to the guy was able to at least see his son, and, like, got the mother and the stepdad out.
And she walks away going like, I'll never forgive you for this, which I'm like, okay, that's fair enough, but there's more.
Yeah.
I'll expand on my thought on that later because we're
Yeah.
getting to that point.
Yeah.
But what I loved about this was that Tommy knew the gun was a fake because they
Yeah.
walked in metal detectors together.
Yeah.
I hadn't even thought of that.
I hadn't thought about that, and that honestly surprised me a bit, because I was like, I didn't really think about it, because like in the promos they kind of like said that there was a shooter in the ICU, and so I was thinking, how the hell do you get a gun, or why would you bring a gun to the ICU? But I never would have thought that it was a toy gun.
Yeah.
No. But I'm like, okay, that's something. I was worried for her. But so we cut out on that. Like, she's the only one left in the ICU with him.
Mm-hmm.
And he's just sitting by his son. And I'm just like, okay, my heart's breaking, but I'm also scared now. Like, what's
Right.
going to happen?
Right. Yeah. Like, well, at this point, I didn't really have any reason to worry about Tommy, because it was like a fake gun. So I was like, well.
No, I wasn't worried about her necessarily. I was concerned because I'm just like, okay, is he going to get shot? Because, like, going in, what's going to happen? Like, this can't keep going.
Right.
It's going to have to reach a climax at some point.
Right. Yeah.
And so it's like, okay, I was worried about like the situation. What the hell is going to happen?
Right. And before we get any more of that, then we go to Owen during his cancer checkup, his surgery checkup. This was interesting.
This was, yeah, there's so much things happening. Like, she's checking out the incision, and she's like, oh, looks good. And then she sees the burns, and she's like, those aren't mine. And Owen's just like, I plead the fifth. And she's like, I don't want to know. And then she changes her mind and says, never mind, I do.
Actually, yes, I do.
And like, Owen's like, that's a long story. She's like, never mind, you don't have to tell me. And then he's like, I could over coffee. And he's like, never mind, you're my doctor. And I'm just like, this is so awkward. Like, I don't, even if she wasn't his doctor anymore, which she kind of says later, or like in a few minutes, that's still wicked weird for me, and I'm just like, no. Yeah.
You know what? Actually, I'm okay with it. Like, it was
compared to the
awkward.
other people, okay, I did like Zoe, but compared to some of the other people he's considered, the Doctor's not so bad.
Honestly, I'm like, I've always liked the Doctor. He's always been like really nice, and everything before this has been, you know, pretty professional. And honestly, with this, you know, third time around, we see he has a type. He very much has a type in like women, but I like her. And so it's like, it's a little odd because, you know, they're just getting off doctor patient, and I think maybe this is a little soon for him.
Yeah, I think.
But like, if this was a couple, I'd be okay with that.
Yeah, honestly, I don't think they're gonna go in that direction. I think this is more as like a kind of a joke.
Flirt,
maybe.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd be okay either way.
Bring Zoe back. That's all I have to say.
I'd love Zoe to come back. Yeah,
but also I don't feel like she will.
I know she won't, but I just want hope. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, I liked Zoe.
Yeah, I liked Zoe. She was
and
great.
then while they're like having their conversation, all of a sudden they announce, and I can't remember the colors, but it's like Dr. So-and-so and Dr. White to Dr. Violet and Dr. White to ICU. And then like the doctor freezes, and then Owen's like, what's wrong?
And it's a hostage situation.
It's a hostage situation. So if you're ever in a hospital and you hear like specific doctors, but their names are like colors, that's usually a code. Not like code blue is like a health thing, but sometimes to like not let people know they're onto them. Yeah, so if you're ever in that, just watch out. But so they start evacuating, and while Owen's evacuating, he calls Tommy to see if she's still there, and she's like, yeah, I'm here, and tell SWAT it's a toy gun and to hold him off.
Oh my god.
I was like, really, Tommy?
Tommy would do that though. Like, let's be real.
But I love how Owen like steps up to kind of help out, and like not really knowing the whole story.
Yeah.
And he goes right to the SWAT commander and starts talking to him.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, what can I do for you, Captain?
You. Yeah, I love how like he was like, oh, sir, civilians have to go over here. He's like, I'm not a civilian. I'm the captain of AFD. And I'm just like, yes, Owen, yes, you are.
Yes, boy.
Yeah, and like him just being like, oh, it's a toy gun and like this, and she just needs a few minutes to get the guy to come out. And then, like, literally not even a minute later, like, literally right away, him calling her back, and she's being like, oh, things changed. I'm not leaving. And I'm just like, what are you doing?
Okay, so at this time, I thought that she was playing a game, like, stalling to get him out and stuff.
Yeah.
That's what I thought, because I'm like, there's no way she's that stupid.
Yeah,
that was literally my thought. But you know, people do weird things in grief. Exactly. And at this moment, she was seeing the opportunity she didn't get in George.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, understandable, but still you're an idiot.
Yeah, no, definitely. And like also like right after he talked to Tommy, he calls Judd and he's like, have you talked to Tommy today? And Judd's like, yeah, actually Grace and I are watching The Girls right now. Why? And Owen's like, she said she was here because she had a relative who was getting some sort of procedure done. And Judd's like, she doesn't have any relatives in the area. And
that's just Charles. And this is when they start working it out.
Yeah, they start putting the pieces together.
They're like, I think they were expecting like Charles had to go to the hospital.
Yeah.
Because like still, how did they reach the conclusion of death?
Yeah.
But I think they also knew something must be really wrong because Tommy hadn't even told anybody.
Right, yeah.
And so, they start working out what if the car he heard in the driveway the night prior was an ambulance.
Right, yeah. And Owen was like, something is not right with her.
Yeah.
She's in the middle of a
right.
Yeah.
Standoff, a police standoff.
Yeah.
And I love how they're like, what?
Yeah, but like back at Grace and Judd's, they start figuring it out. And
Grace calls dispatch.
Yeah, Grace calls dispatch. She asks if there was any calls at Tommy and Charles's, and there was a call, obviously, and then she asked to hear the call, and that's like when they not yet, but like they hear the call, and then like we see SWAT try to go in, and Owen asks for like a couple minutes, like
because he knows her and he thinks he can talk to her, and
exactly
because that's when they let her because they let him know about Charles, and he thinks that, she can talk her down, so to speak.
Yeah.
And I'm just
and he also doesn't want her to get hit in the crossfire of possibly shooting somebody else. So he's trying to, like, just give me a few minutes.
The 126 has had too many gunshots for one season, or 2 seasons, technically.
Even Tommy said in episode 12, she's like, I've already gotten being shot at and being taken hostage and blown up all on the bingo card this year.
Oh my god, yeah, exactly. We don't need more gunshots, okay? Yeah, so like, and then I like the conversation that when Owen goes into the room where George and Tommy is, I like the conversation that they have where Owen says to Tommy, like, you just want to give him the miracle that you didn't get, and George is just like, what is he talking about? And Owen's like, her husband died this morning, and Tommy's like, last night.
I like technicalities.
And then Owen's like, last night, and you weren't there. And Tommy's like, I wasn't there. And Owen's like, I am so sorry, Tommy. You need to walk out of this room with me, and you should too, to the other guy. Mm-hmm. And I just really liked this whole like thing.
I think all she needed was somebody acknowledging it to her.
Yeah.
For her, especially someone she knew as well as she knew Owen. Like somebody just like bringing it out in the open and not letting her push it off.
Yeah. And then I think like shortly after like the scene, well before that even, like basically like they start to leave, but then the guy's son Ethan wakes up.
I knew that was going to happen.
Same. Like
the entire freaking time I knew that was going to happen.
Like yes,
I felt so validated.
Especially in that other part when Tommy was like, well, we can pray. I was like, okay, he's gonna wake up. Like I'm calling it. Like it's gonna happen. Like, and it did. And then like we see the scene from prior unfold where the call is played over this and Owen comforting Tommy, and then you see Judd and Grace's reactions, and then you also see SWAT go in and arrest the dude.
And
but I gotta say, the dad's being taken away, but he has the biggest smile on his face. I'm like, I guess in the end it was worth it for him.
Yeah.
Because he got to see honestly, if he hadn't done that, Ethan would have died completely without having the chance to wake up because they had already unhooked him.
Right, yeah. Because I think, definitely. Because Tommy actually, I think she, like, I don't know what she did. Like, she either started, like...
She helped continue the monitors and the oxygen, something.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I just couldn't remember exactly. But yeah, she, like, helped continue it.
And if they hadn't done that, then it's like, okay, note everyone. Do not go hold up an ICU if you have somebody in the hospital that you don't want to pull the plug on. More than likely, this will not turn out well.
Yeah, no. Not a good idea.
In this case, in the end, it paid off.
Yeah. And then, like, after this whole thing, we see the coroner reveal that it was an aneurysm and there were no warnings. And there's nothing she could have done, which is, like, we kind of called that because we said it was aneurysm, but it was just, like, I feel like I did my research.
Yeah, and and it was good for Tommy because she also found out that it happened fast. Like, it wasn't something where he was, like, in pain or anything. And you could kind of tell that with how he was sitting when she found him, that he wasn't, like, crunched over or, like, like he'd fallen on the floor or anything. He was just literally just almost like he closed his eyes, or he didn't close his eyes, but he, like, just went to sleep.
Sorry, that just made me laugh.
I mean, he did close his eyes.
Well, the thing is, like I kind of knew when they said it was aneurysm that, like, there was no way he could have survived that. Like, unless you're in a hospital and you're being monitored severely, you're not gonna, like, make it out of that. Like,
and
that's just the reality.
And even if you do, your life is different. Like, I have a friend who had an aneurysm, and she's, like, lost, like, mobility in certain parts of her body, and just, like, things have changed.
It's devastating. Yeah. And so, she asked, would he have been in pain or something? And the coroner was like, it would have been fast. Yeah. So I'm like, I mean, your brain's basically bursting, so yeah, there probably was pain, but it was definitely fast. Yeah. And you know what? Sometimes all you want is for it to be fast.
Yeah.
If it happens at all, it's gotta be fast. That's kind of my view on things.
Yeah, that's how I view it too. And, like, I like the flashback of like her giving birth. I like the flashbacks that they did chose to show because they were things that were mentioned before, so like we had some idea, and I think they fit really well with the episode.
And these are going to be those particular memories Tommy will carry with her when she's old. Like, these will be those memories that she'll always have of Charles, even if she remarries, even if, you know, whatever happens.
Exactly.
And I will say I did not cry during this episode, but this part almost made me cry.
Yeah.
Because, you know, she was holding her husband's hand in the morgue, and this was when she was flashing back to him holding her hand while she was giving birth, and it's like, oh,
yeah. It was, literally. Yeah, like, okay, I didn't really cry. I got, like, misty-eyed, but I also had, like, chills watching this episode because of, like, the sadness of it.
Yeah.
Like, it just, Then, and then we saw Tommy finally go pick up the girls from Jen and Grace's, and I loved, like, this, like, when they were first there, and they're, like, coloring, and Jen's, like, helping them. I'm like, don't make me cry. That was gonna make me cry harder than, like, anything else.
Yes. And so Grace hugs Tommy. It was so sweet. And she comes in, collects the girls. One thing I was sad that didn't show was her eventually telling the girls. Maybe that'll be next episode, or maybe they just don't want to tackle that. Maybe Aftermath instead.
Yeah, so I've heard that they're going to skip over most of it. Like, I think the next episode is supposed to jump a little bit.
Probably.
Yeah, because I read...
Honestly, if the 126... No, 126 and... Never mind. I was going to say if they're back, but I was like, wait, no, they're working on other stations right now.
Yeah, like, I heard, like, in interviews that it's supposed to jump a tiny bit, and they're not going to really... At least for the grief part, they're not going to cover it. And I don't know. Like, I don't know if I would have... I think that would have been really hard for, like, 8-year-olds to, like... For them to do this. I think it would be really hard.
Like, I would have liked to have seen it, but at the same time, I'm okay not having seen it.
Exactly.
It felt more unfinished because we didn't see it.
Yeah, like, I feel like with this whole scene, like, Tommy acknowledged it without actually saying the words.
Yeah.
Especially when she was hugging Grace, and then also when Judd, when she was leaving, said, you know, we're here for you.
Yeah, and she thanks him. And then I loved, like, after Tommy and the girls left, what Grace just collapses in Judd's arms. I just thought that was, like, powerful.
Yeah, because they had to have been friends for at least 15 to 20 years.
Yeah, it was a while. And, no, that was super sad. And that was a scene where, you know, where we saw promos. So many people thought she lost the baby.
Yeah, that's too obvious.
That's not even obvious. That's so outlandish.
Literally.
I'm sorry. It's like, this is a Tommy-centric episode, and you're thinking Grace lost the baby? Excuse me, what?
Excuse me, let's not put that energy out there. It's like my vibe. Yeah. So the last scene, I gotta say, was like kind of like, it's not supposed to be funny, but I find it really funny. So Owen goes to the 126 to survey the damage, and he's like looking at like his office, and you see the
piece of metal.
The piece of metal from the South Tower, and see like just all this like almost rubble, and then you see flashbacks from like the pilot with that, and then all of a sudden you hear music, and you're like, what's going on? Who's crashing the 126? And then Owen makes his way downstairs, and there's Paul, Marjan, Mateo, Nancy, TK, and Carlos having a full-on gathering, and a friggin' like at a burnt firehouse. Just like that would happen.
They'd always be at Carlos's, but Carlos's is no more.
Yeah,
so they came to the still mostly intact firehouse.
Marjan's line, exactly. These hangouts are usually at Carlos and TK's place, but as you know, that kind of burned to the ground. And I'm like, Marjan, too soon?
Yeah. And I love even Paul's response too, is like, yeah, we never miss a 126 hang, come rain, shine, or diabolical acts of arson.
I love that line. Favorite. That was my favorite. And
I just kind of love how it's like... It feels like they're sneaking around, but really they're just lighting it up and having a good time. And it's like, I love this. I want to go. I want to have a 126 hang.
Yeah.
Just like,
hey, Ronen.
I think the only thing, I know a lot of people were really bummed about like what Marjan said. They thought it was like kind of harsh towards what Carlos, because they said that he kind of looked upset. I don't know. He didn't look upset, but he just like you could tell he was still like kind of sad.
I didn't notice anything.
Let
me just say, like, shut up. Sorry, that's really.
Oh my god,
I'm sorry. I cannot deal with fans lately.
Same.
So,
this is
sorry, fans. I can't. But no, I'm like, honestly, stop criticizing everything.
Literally, it's too much. Like, this is when unfiltered Katie is about to come out because shut up, please
shut
leave.
Up. Let's just shut up. Keep your opinions to yourself.
I don't like that, and like just other things people are saying. Like TK goes and talks to Owen, and TK's like, "Hey, Dad, where have you been all day?" And he's like, "I'll tell you about it later." And he asks Carlos for a beer. Carlos is just like, "Absolutely," but people were saying that TK was eyeing the beers. Okay, first of all, he's an addict. Second of all, like, not to say that it could never happen, because obviously it could happen, but that was not happening.
That was not happening.
He
glanced at the exchange. I would glance at the exchange. You would glance at the exchange. It's what happens. We're nosy. And also he was right there.
It was literally in his, like, the way he was looking. He was looking at Carlos. He was looking at Owen. It wasn't anything more than that. And people are only saying this because they either want TK to relapse, and if you want that, that's sick and you're disgusting. I'm sorry, but it's true.
You have problems. You should go to therapy and not send Ronen your bill, because that's your problem. Sorry.
You've had problems before 212 if you think that.
Yeah,
just gonna be
honest.
I
definitely
it makes me sick.
Yeah,
I'm disgusted by it.
TK is not in the place in his life where that's an option. He's in a good spot. Yeah. He's got a great boyfriend. He's got a moderately supportive dad.
Moderately, yeah.
Supportive, but sometimes careless with words.
He has that he has true friends, support. He's not like, he's got people he can go to,
and he has gone through many horrible things lately, and he's been fine because he has that support system. So basically, a relapse might happen. I'll be really sad if it does, but like, that's also, it's part of being an addict. But if you want that to happen, fuck you.
Yes.
That's it. I'm done.
Yeah, I do not want TK to relapse.
I want more of that storyline, but I don't want a second relapse.
It was a begins. Exactly. I would love to see his background. I'd love to see his struggles. And even occasionally, I'd like to see maybe him talking with Carlos about, it's been a hard day, or maybe even talking a little bit about his background with it a little bit.
Yeah.
That's what I want.
Oh my god, yeah.
I don't want the relapse.
Yeah, no, same. And, like, it could happen, but, like, let's not put this out there, and let's not say stuff like this, because honestly, saying, like, even, like, this, I think that's really offensive to, like, people who are in recovery.
Yes!
It just bothers me so much, and, like, no, let's not say that. Let's not put that stupidity out there.
So,
we pretty much are at the end of the episode, because the last, because we get kind of a glimpse of a dust storm coming in, or it's kind of like what they did last season. Is like the very last scene of this 9th episode was like a preview of
what is to come.
The storm.
Yeah. I love how it was like a storm in episode 9 coming in, and it's a storm in episode 13 coming in for like the finale. I love how they did that.
Yeah, me
too. So yeah, we end on a dust storm, and like, let me just say, I am so excited for this.
I'm so down. I'm so ready for it.
I feel like episode 14 is going to be a lot like 318 of 911, where it was like there was like the continuation of like the storyline, and then like halfway through the episode we're like moving ahead like weeks. Because
what was 318? Sorry, I just like
the train wreck, and then after the train wreck there was like a big time jump in the middle of the episode.
Oh, yep. Gotcha. I was just like, wait, what happened?
Because, like, I know you guys had mentioned earlier you'd heard that there's going to be a time jump, and I'm like, yeah, I think there's going to be a time jump, but I think if the storm happens right at the end of this episode, we're not going to have a time jump right away, but there will be a time jump in the episode.
Yeah. Well, is next up Beyond Thoughts?
I think so.
Yes.
Did you get a lot of them this week?
Not as many as last week. I just have to find them. So somebody said emotional, heartbreaking. True.
Yeah.
Fair.
And then a lot better than I thought. I seriously didn't think Charles would end up dying. I wish she would have let people in her life know about the loss, I think is what they were trying to say, especially after a loss.
Yeah.
And stuff, and I agree. I definitely think the episode was like better than I imagined, but I did think Charles was gonna die. I was almost certain by it.
Yeah, which as we've discussed. And I definitely agree. She should have let people into her life, even though, like, get why she didn't, but...
Yeah, definitely. So, finale promo. Okay, I'm kind of, like, I said this the other day to you guys, but I was like, I'm kind of sad that it's the finale, but also excited to see the finale because just things I won't get into right now.
Right.
Mm-hmm. No, I'm seriously excited, but I'm like going to be so sad when we don't have any more. Hey, at least we have at least one more season to obsessively watch until it comes back in January.
Right. So now we have to binge watch season 2 as much as we binged watch season 1.
Oh my god. You guys don't even like this is like without a lockdown. Like I watched season 1 like I'm not even kidding you, almost pretty much every day I watched season 1 in lockdown, and this is without a lockdown. I mean, I love season 2, so I will be obsessively watching it literally the day after it ends. I'm rewatching it. Like I'd like that to be known.
Yeah.
But Grace is back at work, which yay.
Yay, it's awesome.
Yay! So excited to have her back.
Yes, because like we really haven't gotten any 911 calls pretty much since she wasn't like there. We've gotten them, but like very barely.
Yeah.
And obviously it's gonna do with the whole dust storm thing, and you see like a plane and then like the dust cloud forming. You see Owen in like an official uniform ish.
Mm-hmm.
And then
in a still I've seen he's in the uniform and he's with Billy, and I'm so excited to see Billy.
So I was looking at some of those promo pictures I just saw the other day, and it looks like the plane crashes at some sort of like the ceremony. I want to say it's like maybe Mateo, because he's also in his similar uniform.
Oh my god!
I'm wondering if maybe it's his promotion or like
his
because this would be about a year since he became a probie.
Oh my god.
Oh, so he...
Please.
Oh, yes, please. I want to...
Because I'm pretty sure that was like one of my wish lists, because we saw that for Eddie after his 1-year probation period. So if they do that for Mateo, I will be screaming. I will be so happy.
Yeah.
I mean, mentally I'm thinking timing's off a little bit, but I don't care.
Yeah, and then, so we have Billy will be back in the finale.
I love it.
So I'm thinking we might have a little more Billy next season, too. I mean, Billy Burke's a pretty awesome actor, and, you know, he's been known to do TV shows here and there, so...
I'm all for having more of him. Like, it was kind of we've established he isn't the arsonist. I love him.
And he's not like a terrible person. Okay, I love you now.
Right.
Yeah.
And then we have also seen some promo photos of Judd, Marjan, Paul wearing yellow turnout coats and gear. So, and with the 122 on their hat. So I'm thinking they're subbing in another station while the 126 is still out of commission.
Right.
It's going to be a few months.
Yeah.
Probably.
Yeah. Honestly, the way they described like the things that need to be done to the 126 and then what they showed, I was kind of shocked because they made it seem like it was barely nothing, and then you see it and it's basically like it's not terrible, but it's also not great. And I'm like, oh, they really downplayed this. I'm sorry, but okay.
They did.
Yeah, and like Owen says basically that in the promo that anybody who's out in this is going to need as much help as they can get.
Oh, dust storms are nasty.
Yeah, I'm sure. And then Marjan like tells people to get in the firehouse. I'm assuming she's talking about like civilians and stuff.
Yeah, unless the team is out there. I don't know. But
I don't know.
You know, safest place to be.
I am curious. Like, I think because of... I don't think the ambulance was harmed.
I thought I saw it outside the firehouse when the explosion happened.
Same.
So I'm thinking that 126 ambulance, they're probably bunking up elsewhere. I think they're still operating as 126.
Right.
That's my hunch.
Yeah, me too. Especially, I think I've seen like that is what it is. And
didn't Ronen post a story on Instagram the other day of him, and it was like him secretly recording as he's jumping in the ambulance?
Of course he did.
Of course.
On his last day of filming.
Oh my god.
Of course he did.
Yeah, he did. So, I think that like they will be like operating somewhat per usual, but yeah, that was pretty much it. And unlike 911, they have given us like no like exclusive like sneak peek like thing, which I'm like, come on, we're waiting.
Yeah. I'm now looking up Dust Storm to see like what can happen during it. And I think they're going to be getting a lot of medical calls because it isn't likely to kill you.
Right.
But if
not the storm itself, but if you're in an automobile, wow, I sound so British. Sorry, I've been watching British television lately. If you're in a car, and you get blinded, you're going to drive off something, so you need to stop as soon as possible. It's hugely dangerous lung-wise, and it also gets in the eyes.
Yeah, so for anyone who's got, asthma or any kind of COPD or lung issues are going to have issues.
Honestly, you just need to get out of it because it's like, especially, the particles that gets in the eyes, you won't be able to breathe. It's like, it's pretty bad.
And then,
apparently in the Middle East, like, some sandstorms stay around for like 3 months.
Oh gosh, yeah, let's
and
hope
it's like,
not.
no, thank you.
No, yeah.
No, thank you.
Yeah, so, like, honestly, I feel like I don't know, like,
it can also trigger an allergic reaction. Sorry.
Yeah. No,
this is me just reading.
So, like, I don't know. Like, I'm really excited for this. I think, like, kind of how 911, like, original 911, I think how they have, like, their emergency, like, kind of, like, natural disaster episodes at the beginning of the season. I feel like Lone Star's trying to do them at the end of the season because, like, the storm, solar storm from last season was, like, 9 and 10. I think this could potentially be 14, and honestly, probably the premiere for next season.
If they do a cliffhanger, I'm going to be like just thrilled and murderous.
Depending
on what it is.
Yeah.
Depending,
I'd be like, Ronen, please tell me that there's not this huge cliffhanger. I mean, he can't tell.
Blink.
Well, we'll know Tuesday, or we'll know Monday evening.
Ronen, breathe twice if there's a huge cliffhanger.
And since it's on my mind, and I think, Grace, you asked earlier, so what we've seen so far with the renewals is that 911 is going to come back in, like, the fall. So, like, September, October.
Yeah.
And then Lone
Star... this was
Star...
regarding the crossover, wasn't it?
Well, no, it's so 911 will be airing from, like, fall to end of December. Like, they usually do a hiatus around Christmas. And then in January, instead of 911 coming back, 911 Lone Star is going to premiere in January. Lone Star will premiere or air by itself from January to, like, mid-March, like it did this year, or they did the shows this year. Then they'll take a hiatus, and then in, like, April, both shows will come back for the last half of their season, is kind of how they're doing it. So 911 and Lone Star will be back-to-back the last half of the season, which is how they can get a crossover in.
Yes.
Gotcha. I was so confused. I thought they were just, like, one then the other.
Because somebody just asked me that the other day, and I'm like, I've seen a lot of people asking, like, well, how can they do a crossover if they're not doing on the... That's why. So the last half of the season, so the second part of the season of each one, they'll have the crossover.
Yeah.
Because they'll be back-to-back.
Apparently 2 days ago, there was a massive in southern Russia.
Oh my god, I'm going to be doing so many research in these next few days about dust storms. I'm about to watch so many YouTube videos and research so many things. I am so curious.
Yeah. Yeah. Yep. No, this is just me scrolling down on my search options and going, oh, wait.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
The only thing I really want in the finale is I just want some Tarlos. At least some Tarlos. Finding out where they're staying right now, Buttercup, and also what their plan is. Like, are they planning on renting? Are they planning on buying a house together? So kind of what the plan is.
Yeah, I hope
that's with a much more extensive security system.
Yeah.
They should just they should move into like Austin's gated community. Honestly,
Yeah.
2 first responders will never afford it, but yes,
honestly, no. They need an upgrade.
they need an upgrade.
Yeah, tell TK he needs to go up for a lieutenant's, salary, and Carlos goes to detective, and
They'll still barely afford it.
Yeah, barely.
Oh my goodness. Okay. Well, I'll shut up about dust storms now. We have so much to look forward to. I'm so excited for the finale. I'm gonna cry when it's done, but
Same. The second sober, me just sobbing in a corner.
Yeah.
So the bummer is that we're gonna have till January to wait for new Lone Star content. So
I know.
It's so sad. But
and you guys will be
out
hearing our plan for episodes soon. We're still working it out.
We're still working out the details.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. So we will come back after treatment.
Yeah.
Bye.
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 A few moments later.
Several hours later.
I'm gonna leave that in. Treatment can't happen.
A very long time later.
Exactly. A few hours later, we're back.
We are back. And we had to
God.
wait so long for one thing,
Yeah.
but it was so worth it.
Oh my god.
Totally.
That man is always worth it. Like, oh my
yeah.
god. And per usual, we had a few things planned and we didn't say anything, but it's because we've met him before, so we end up just catching up. Kind of.
Exactly.
Yeah.
He knew every single one of us. He was like, I haven't seen you guys in a while.
Oh my god, yeah. He was like, Katie, I haven't seen you in a while. And I was gonna be like, yeah, work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I said,
I told us slam their ticketing system, but then not really.
Yeah.
I don't think I said anything wrong. I was just like, they sell out real fast.
Yeah, we talked about that, yeah.
Yeah, and I was glad I mentioned that, I'm glad he got to meet new faces too,
Yeah.
Always.
So it's cool because he's got more fans getting to know who he is and are able to get to the the cons, so
yeah. And he told us the cutest story.
Oh my goodness, yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
So sweet. He shared a cute little story about a fan. And then we got to see Fresh and Spot.
Oh my god.
I picked up Fresh and had her in the frame, and it's like
she's just chilling.
I wanted to say I love your dogs almost as much as I love you, but I thought that'd just be odd.
Yeah, I was like, the second he picked her up, I was like, Freshie!
Oh my gosh, I love you! His dogs are so cute.
He was, honestly, I think it's funny how he's not even phased when people are like, Freshie!
Yeah.
He features them on his stories so much.
Oh,
yeah, he's used to it by now.
I love the voices that he makes for them when he's trying to make them talk.
Yeah. He just waved her paw. She looked so grumpy. But I think that was just sleepy. But anyway.
Yeah, he was like, she looks drunk or something like that. We're like, huh?
Punch drunk.
Yeah.
Punch drunk. Oh, is that what he was saying?
Yeah.
I couldn't tell. He just kept saying something about drunk. I was sitting there thinking, does one of us look drunk? What's the problem?
I was like, who?
Yeah.
I just get giggly when I'm around. When I talk to him.
Oh my god, same. I just
yes.
I was so excited but also kind of nervous, even though we've talked to him at this point.
I've all attended several conventions by this point.
Yeah. Right.
It's I've talked to him one-on-one. We've talked to him together. Mm-hmm. You guys have talked to him one-on-one before.
Yeah.
It's I was so anxious, but the moment we started talking, I was like, I think him recognizing us helped that too.
Oh yeah, if he were to it's so amazing how he remembered us and stuff, because the way he was like, oh Katie, I haven't seen you in a while, and for each of us.
Yeah. And he greeted us each individually and said a little thing.
Oh
and
my
it's
god.
My second one-on-one with him, this was a few conventions ago, and I came on and he was like, Grace, great to see a familiar face. And I'm like, you remember me? He's like, yeah, I never forget a face. And I'm like,
Yeah.
aw.
Yeah.
That's so good. So awesome.
That's why make anybody's day.
Yeah, and we definitely thanked him for like, because he's the reason the three of us got to know each other, and other fans too. Like there's other fans that we've met just because of him, or
apparently
like,
he saw a lot of groups already that
Yeah.
were the same.
Yeah, so it's just really cool to see like how one person, the connection that others can make because of that one person. Yeah, so I'm like, and I'm grateful to have you guys in my life, and like we said, you know, we'll meet. And I think he said something about we should meet somewhere in the middle of the US for a convention and just have everybody meet. And I'm like, yeah, so like Austin.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, and he was like, they have conventions there? I'm like, yes, Ronen.
Yes,
Yes,
I'm
they
pretty
do.
sure they can pull up a convention just about anywhere. I didn't know that, but I was like, I'm sure they do.
Yeah.
And I've got so many friends that live in Austin now. Like I have another set of friends that just moved down there, and I'm like, really, how many more people are going to move to Austin?
Yeah.
If the show actually filmed there, I'd be so enticed to move there.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Like casually strolls by the set, slow motion.
Yeah.
Yeah. I honestly do want to go there just because of the show. Even though they don't film like everything there, they only pretty much get like certain shots there pre-COVID times, of course. But I don't know. I feel like it'd be cool to go there. And like other shows have been filmed in Texas in general, so it's just been on my list.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Even though we didn't say all the things we planned on saying, I love the whole conversation because it's like so easy and natural. Like it was just so casual.
It was
like
it felt like reading like a good friend.
Ronen's a good friend of the podcast. Let's just put it there.
Yeah, there you go.
Heard it here first.
Yeah.
Whether he knows it or not.
Oh my god, yeah.
Who says he needs to know it?
I know.
Plenty of people have friends they don't know anything about because they'll claim they're friends. So.
Yeah. Honestly.
Yeah. No, it was perfect. That was like, we've looked forward to it for so long now.
Mm-hmm.
And now we've done it. And this is our second 3-on-1. And more to come.
Definitely.
Always more to come.
I know.
I think the first couple of conventions that I went to, and I think you all had a part in it as well, they didn't even offer 3-on-1 as an option.
No,
so
it was a new
I think
thing.
December was the first time they offered a 3-on-1, and I thought that was pretty cool.
The first time we did it was the first time they offered it.
Right, yeah.
And I love it.
Because they never offered it when Rafa was in there, and I know Rafa's kind of taken some time from online conventions.
But when he comes back,
we're going.
We'll be first in line for that 3-on-1.
Yeah, like honestly, like I feel like I had more. Like I like the 3-on-1 because honestly, like me just being there by myself, like if you're not talking, somebody else is gonna be talking.
Right.
So it's easier for me.
Mm-hmm.
And like compared to the 1-on-1, I mean, I loved the 1-on-1, but I feel like I run out of things. Or the first one I think was just like a trial period. Like you get nervous and you don't know what to say.
Right.
And usually I let him guide the conversation in some way. Like we'll wind up talking. I think both times we've talked about my school, like at least a couple of the 1-on-1s we talked about my school, and like that's great. Like I tell him where I live, and we talk about that. And you know what? It's very much interchangeable, but I am perfectly comfortable having him guide the conversation.
Yeah.
Because I'm very shy sometimes.
Same.
And also it's like, what brilliant thing is he going to say next?
Yeah.
Well, and it's also too because you when you meet somebody, you don't always want it to be about yourself. You want to get to know that person too.
And we know Ronen from the Instagram and everything like that, but we don't know him. So this is us like knowing him a little bit, and this is him getting to know some of his fans too.
Yeah, because like he knows like little things about us that he stumbled across and just in general. So it's like it is truly amazing. Like I still can't believe like things even happened at our last conversation.
Mm-hmm.
Like let alone this one. Yeah, and I love him talking about season 3 and saying if you guys know based on like themes, I was literally about to be like Ronen, it's January. I know it. I'm not happy about it. But I don't.
Hey, I'm just happy we're getting a 3rd season.
I know, me too.
But I'm impatient.
Yeah, because one of the shows that I watched, so they were a summer series. You know how they used to do the summer shows?
Are we talking about the night shift?
Yes.
Okay, good.
Season 2, they brought it in 4 months early because they canceled a show early than they thought they were going to. It was like a 13 episode first season that was canceled. They didn't extend it. The night shift season 2 started in February instead of June. So by like May, the show was over, and we had to wait till the following like 2 Junes later to get the next season. And I was that was like a year and a few months, and I was like, oh, I need more.
I know, I remember that.
I never watched it, so
highly recommend.
It's on Netflix. I highly recommend it. Brendan Fair, Drew, and Rick. Yes.
Yes.
Love them. Brendan Fair. I've been a fan of Brendan Fair since 1999, before Grace was even in the alive.
Yeah.
But yes, highly recommend that show. But yeah. So I love we've had these chances, and I'm glad they started the 3-on-1s, because I think that's great, because we do have a lot of friends that have become, close friends because of the show and because of Ronen or one of the other.
We never would have met otherwise.
Yeah. Not to say that we wouldn't have maybe come across each other in a different fandom, but I think all of us have been slightly in different fandoms. So
yeah,
Ronen was kind of what brought us together, Tarlos.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And honestly, still, like, the other day in my brain, I was just like, man, in like a couple of days I'm talking to TK Strand.
Yes.
He's like 2 different people to me. He's TK Strand.
Right.
And he's also Ronen.
Ronen Rubinstein.
I love that.
I love it so much.
Oh, and then earlier, Katie and myself were able to do the second quiz that they had, which was all of quotes from the show. They had 19 quotes that we had to guess who said it.
Oh yeah, that was so much fun. I would do that again.
Yeah, that was actually really cool. They do it on Kahoot, so like you're on Zoom, but it's really just Ronen and the moderator that's on Zoom, and then you're going through Kahoot, you just sign in and answer the questions. And I think at one point I got up into the top 5, but then like I slid down because I missed a couple of them, but I think Ronen finished top 15 out of 29.
Yeah. At one point, okay, so like some of the questions, like I just, because you want to get it as fast as you can, because that's how you get the most points. Right. So I was trying to answer it really fast, and then I'm like, wait, that was a dumb one to get wrong. But like whatever. And like, so I think I only got like 2 out of the 19 wrong. So like,
oh, awesome.
Yeah, so the first one, like, I was, like, in the top 5, and then, like, I slid down, and then eventually built myself up, and I got, like, the last, like, I don't remember how many it was, maybe, like, 12, right? And I'm pretty sure, because, like, for the 4th one, or the second to last one, I was in the top 5, so I'm pretty sure for the last one, I probably was in the top 5, because they only show the top 3, and I was like, wow. And before we even got on, I was like, yeah, I'm nervous that I'm gonna, like, do bad, and Grace, like, I highly doubt it.
Yeah. Yeah, and they had some good quotes too. Like one of them was Carlos's, and so they were all season 2 quotes.
Yes.
From different characters. Like who said 50 Shades of Grace.
That was, yeah, some
the
of them
911 dispatcher.
Yeah, some of them I was clicking so fast. I was like, that is easy, like really easy. Like, but some of them, like, I got tripped up because I was like, I don't know.
Yeah, there were a couple of them that I could have gone either way for a couple of them.
Yeah, and like the one I got instantly was friend from work.
Yeah.
If I was your friend from work, then what we did this morning was very unprofessional. I have that literally on my phone, like as a video, and I can't delete it off. Like I have a problems deleting it off.
Yeah. Oh, and Ronen's reaction when he saw that was like, "Oh, I love that line" or something. I was like, obviously.
Yeah, I loved his commentary about the different lines. It was everything. Like, yes.
Oh, and and I like the one because they even had getting slapped with a wet towel. That was when Buck came to Texas for the first time. they I feel like they put that in there to like trick people because like you wouldn't expect it to be like a 911, technically a 911 quote, even though it was in the crossover. Yeah.
So like I was like, ooh, you sneaky. So I was looking at it, I was like, wait, who said this? I'm like, Buck, it has to be Buck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But, yeah, that was awesome.
Yeah, it was.
Such a good experience.
So glad we got to do it. So excited to do it again.
I know. I can't wait. Like, I'm like, when's the next one?
Right.
Hello. Take my money.
Honestly.
Well, yeah. And so I haven't done a visual, like been on, like, so I had the quiz, but I don't think this year I've done any of the Dreamits. I think
No,
December was my last one, and that's when we did our first 3-on-1.
Yeah, same.
Oh, yeah.
He hasn't done that many this year, obviously, because Lone Star, he's super busy.
I did his last one.
Yeah.
The last one he did a month ago.
Yeah.
They're so close together. I did meeting room, panel, and quiz about him and TK. So apparently he failed it last time. And I'm just like, honey, it's about you.
Yeah, I think he got top 5 in his first quiz, though.
Yeah, was that
Like,
about
round of
him?
applause.
Yeah. I mean, it'd be a little embarrassing if you didn't know anything about yourself.
Right?
Oh my god. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, so definitely excited to do more, and I'd highly encourage you guys, if you can, to do Dream It if you get the opportunity. And if you're shy, try and see if you can grab a couple of people and do a 3-on-1.
Yeah, definitely.
And you know
Katie
what?
said.
It's so easy to talk to him.
Mhm.
Yeah.
It's like, don't be nervous. Don't worry about running out of things to say. Like, I say that as we worry about things running out things to say. But, he'll guide the conversation.
Yeah.
It's so...
Yeah.
If you're able to do it, it's such an experience.
It's literally like an experience like no other. Like I was nervous for the first one. You guys are at the time were like the only reason why I did it, because you're like, come on, Kitty, just do it. And I'm like, fine, I came.
Oh, it's a great thing. Yeah.
Yeah. And like for a picture, I love how like he was like, they were like, what do you guys want to do? And we're just like, we get an option? Huh?
Yeah. And then he's like, let's do a heart, and I missed what he said, like, because you guys are the heart or something in the fandom or whatever. I don't remember exactly what he said, but it was very sweet.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't remember exactly, but
I can let you know.
I think it's like because like you guys are part of like wonderful fans or something like that. It's like I don't remember exactly, but it's really sweet. Our picture. This is my favorite picture of us yet.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Maybe because for once I don't look weird in it.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Aww.
Yeah.
Well, and we confirmed that one day the three of us will meet in person.
Yeah, Ronen was witness to that, so I just like that to me now.
So, yeah.
So it's now vowed. It's now true. It's gonna happen
one day. I do love driving, so maybe I'll take a road trip to the East Coast.
Yes!
That might take a few years to save some money. So maybe we can change it up, but I don't know. We'll see.
When I come out to California, well, that will solve seeing you, EJ, but
then Katie
should
take
would you like to come along?
Sure, why not? I'm here for the ride
meet
again.
in the middle. Yeah. Yeah, so that's Dream It. This was Dream It 11. So, and they've done quite a few, so be on the lookout for the next one.
Yeah.
So excited. Yeah. Thank you guys so much for joining us and listening. Be sure to subscribe to the podcast on Anchor. We are also on Spotify, Apple and Google Podcasts, and almost anywhere where podcasts can be found. On iTunes, please rate us and leave us a review. It would mean a lot to us. You guys can follow the podcast on our socials at 911 LS Roundup on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Bigger news, we also started a Discord server. So if you would like the link, send us a message.
Yeah, it's actually in our Instagram bio too.
Oh, yes. Good to know. So, what she said.
And you guys can follow me, Katie, at For Love of Tarlos on Instagram and at For Love of Tarlos on Twitter.
And you can follow me, Grace, at RonanRathlin911 on Instagram and at SheepGirl31 on Twitter.
You can follow me, EJ, at EJ8302 on Instagram and Twitter. Bye.
Bye.